Hello, welcome again to another fantastic Phelps 3D video. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss how to make a Chinese seal stamp. Now, this is mine, the one I made for Peter Phelps, which is, you use Phelps first and then Peter. And this is, we're going to go to Google Translate and create one for John Phelps. So we're going to select the Chinese simplified. We're going to type in both my brother and my dad have the first name of John. That's why I'm using it. And so we're going to go over here and we're going to select and copy and paste that. So copy it. And then I'm going to WordPad. And we're going to paste that in here. Now, because I already know what my last name is, Phelps is, I'm going to just pull that out of a document I already have. These were images I created earlier. So, now the reason I know what my last name in Phelps is because Michael Phelps was in the Chinese news a lot during the Olympics. And so I just took the translation that they had for the Phelps name from the media, basically. Because there's a bunch of different translations. I figure the one that's out of the Chinese media is the most correct to use. Basically, so Verposi. I guess I'm not sure. I know my first name's Beta. Verposi. I'm not sure if that's exact pronunciation, but in Chinese you put your surname first and then your first name. So it becomes Phelps Peter. In this case, it will become Phelps John. So I gotta paste that in. And oh, great. Okay, WordPad died. What happened? Now, in order to have these fonts accessible, you have to have already you included the simplified Chinese as one of your language settings. So I'm going to copy that and paste it into this ChineseTools.com. You want to change this so that it's black. I think we use the second one on the number 2. I'm debating that right now. Of course, you can choose any ones you want depending on what you're doing, the options. So she said 200 for the size in her tutorial. You click the carve, I guess, to get it. So I'm going to go the second one to say carve, or maybe this one. I'm not sure which one exactly. I should have wrote down which one, but carve. Okay. You click the link, I guess, to download. It's strange that it's 6 by 2. When I did the Peter Phelps, it was 3 by 3 characters. So Let's look at this type of carving. Or change the... no, that's not the right one. So I'm going to switch back to that. I'm going to try the vertical carve. That looks a little better. But actually I think I need the other one. You could download this, but it's really weird that it's 6 characters like that. But I guess I entered 6 characters, so translated it over. Save the image. But I think I've goofed up. I think I need the other version. And that noise in the background, that's my 3D printer going. Sorry. Yeah, but I needed the positive, not the negative. Yeah, that's it. That's the right one. We'll save that one. Documents. My Chinese seal. Then I'm going to call this John Phelps Chinese seal. And say save. Okay, then we're done with this part of it. We'll switch over to Inkscape next. Alright, well, so what I've done is I'm opening Inkscape and going to open or import the PNG from the John Phelps seal. Now, I don't understand exactly why. Well, because this has 9 characters, I guess. So it came out square. This one's 6 characters, so it came out rectangular. Open that. I like to embed from file and smooth. Okay. That's quite a lot bigger than I thought it would be. I thought when I set it to 200 pixels, it was supposed to be 200 by 200. That's not changing it. Or here, maybe I can change it here. Well, I wanted 200 pixels, but that's movement. Sorry. 600? No, 4. Maybe 3. That looks better. Okay. Because this didn't come out square, because it's not only 4 characters or the 6, we're going to have to play around with the size of the block later. But right now we just want to take that path, trace bitmap. I go update all the time and say okay. Close that. We want to move see this one here, because it's path nodes, that's not the image itself. We'll delete the image. This is what we want to convert. We'll go file, save, back over to my Chinese name folder. This one we're going to say John Phelps Chinese seal. So save. Then we'll close this and bring up FreeCAD. File, import, oops, too far. John Phelps seal, SVG, as geometry, select that. Now, if you take and try to go select Control All, select all those, and then go part design, not part design, either being parts, make compound. It will make a compound just fine. But if we try to extrude that out one, say okay. Now watch it works. I had to combine them into separate pieces on my seal, but it could just possibly work this time. Nope. It created just 2D little, so yeah, that won't work. So I delete that. Delete the compound, and then if I can figure out, okay, I make a compound out of those, and then do the same thing for selecting. And hold Control, select, and then part, make compound, select, Control, select, part, make compound, select, part, make compound, and all I'm doing is holding the Control key as I select the different pieces. Part, make compound, and here it should just be the last of the Okay, then we're going to take those compounds and extrude them. I'm going to switch to the 3D view so you can see. And create solids. We're only going 1 millimeter with this anyway. So, I don't know why it doesn't like doing all of them, but if you separate them out into the pieces, it will do it. Might be just too much for the processing to handle. And then I take and make that all one part. Now in Real Sexy Cyborg's tutorial on the Instructables site, she reduces the size by 3%. So I'm going to clone this once it's all together, and then I'll use the clone rather than the original and reduce it to 97%. So that subtracts 3% of the size. And then it's supposed to be around 33.4, I think, millimeters when you've completed the size reduction. Of course, since I'm not a square here, I'm going to check the width for the 33.4, and we're going to have to create a different size block for this, just slightly. And I'm going to hit pause because it's going and going and going, taking a while. Okay. Oh, by the way, that sound you hear in the background, that's my 3D printer running. Okay, so I want to go over to draft. Click this, clone it. Okay, we're going to get rid of the clone, the original. Now I'm going to get rid of the go back over to part. Click the clone, scale, and we're only scaling the X and Y, 0.97. 0.97, so it's not going to be a huge difference. But then we want to check and see if it's... Oops, I should have switched to views. Okay, there we go. That's way bigger. Okay, so... our target is 33.4, but we want to divide that by 54.75 equals. So we're going to use this 61% instead. 0.61. Zero point 0.61. Okay. Delete that distance. Zoom in a bit. Come on. Okay. So that's good enough for government work for this one. And we're going to move that up 70. And we're going to create a queue. Give that a 70. And then a length of 35. And I'm not actually sure how wide I should make it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this way. I want it to be a bit bigger than so maybe make this 30, make it 36, and then come back a little bit. Okay, and the width. I guess will be 54. Okay. I'd like to fuse things together when I'm doing this type of project. That could take a little while. I'm going to pause. Alright, well it came right back up. So this is basically our part. We can file, save, say John Phelps Chinese seal. File, export. And then I can close that. Part add. got a problem, so do a repair. Apply repair, remove all part. Export part is STL. I just leave the default repaired. Optimize, export. And then that is a 3D printable ready file. So I hope you enjoyed this. Much thanks to Real Sexy Cyborg for her Instructable video, or not video, but her Instructable. And I hope this video helps you if you're interested in this type of project. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.